Hi, I'm Brianna.
And I'm Akira.
And you're watching
Dante's Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. has 1 week left to accept Canelo Alvarez's offer of $6 million and facing Canelo on May 6th. I don't see why Chavez would turn this fight down. $6 million. I'm going to tell you right now, even if Chavez thinks he's going to get his ass whooped, for $6 million, you might as well go ahead and take that ass whooping. That's what I say. It's ironic to me that Canelo Alvarez, who we know for at least a year said that he won't fight Golovkin unless Golovkin comes down to 154, all of a sudden is willing to fight Julio Cesar Chavez, who is much, much, much bigger than Gennady Golovkin. Now he's willing to fight Chavez above 160 at 165 pounds. Now we all know, according to reports, that now Team Canelo, they're offering Golovkin $15 million of flat fee to fight now. But I'm not talking about right now. I'm talking about the last year or so that Canelo was basically saying, only way I'll fight Golovkin is if he comes down to 154. The fact that Canelo is willing to go to 165 for Chavez clearly shows that he could have fought Golovkin at 160 a year ago when he was demanding a 154. Now, I will tell you guys, when it comes to this possible fight, I like the fight. I like the idea of Canelo versus Chavez, Cinco de Mayo. There's no doubt about it. It should be fireworks. It's a very entertaining fight. It's a very entertaining sideshow is what it would be. And I call it a sideshow because even though it's an exciting, entertaining fight, we all know this fight would do nothing for Canelo Alvarez's status when it comes to cracking the top 10 pound for pound list, when it comes to being considered one of the best fighters in the world. It does nothing for Canelo Alvarez's status. And I know some of you guys will say, what are you talking about, Dante? He's number 3 or number 2 on Ring Magazine's pound for pound list, etc., etc., etc. But we all know, well, I shouldn't say we all know because a lot of people don't know. Just to let you guys know who don't know, Ring Magazine is actually owned by Canelo Alvarez's promoter, Oscar De La Hoya. So any rankings you see on that list is extremely irrelevant, beyond subjective, okay? Now, if Canelo Alvarez would have beat like an Edeslani Lara decisively with no controversy, if he would have beat someone like a Demetrius Andrade, one of the Charlo brothers, if he beats Gennady Golovkin, matter of fact, even if he were to beat Billy Joe Saunders, I believe that solidifies a spot at the bottom of the top 10 when it comes to the pound for pound list. But until he fights someone like that, he's not really on a top 10 pound for pound list. It doesn't really matter who puts him on there. Just because you personally like him and you put him on there just off of that doesn't mean he's a real pound for pound fighter. So with that all being said, I bring this all up because I just told you guys I like the idea of a Canelo versus Chavez fight, but let's not kid ourselves. This is kind of like a preseason football or basketball game. It doesn't count. It is solely for entertainment purposes only. To be a pound for pound fighter, especially a top 5 pound for pound fighter, you have to either beat other pound for pound fighters already on the list, or you have to beat guys that are on your exact level. And guys that are on Canelo's level are fighters like Golovkin, Demetrius Andrade, the Charlo brothers, etc., etc., etc. Canelo has not beat the Diego Corraleses. He hasn't beat the Gary Russell Jr.'s. He hasn't beat the Nicholas Walters. He hasn't beat the Carl Froches while they were undefeated and considered pound for pound the best in the world. He hasn't beat the Pacquiaos when they were considered pound for pound number 2, the best in the world. He hasn't beat the Golovkins. So let's see if Canelo will ever take that step, or will he just be remembered as a very entertaining sideshow fighter. Having controversial wins over Edeslani Lara, Austin Trout, and then losing to Floyd Mayweather, that does not propel your career when it comes to status. Canelo Alvarez is 26 years old, going on 27. You can no longer use the excuses that he's too young to fight tough competition. You can't use the excuse that he's already been in the ring with big names, so there's no reason for him to fight tough competition. That doesn't make any sense anymore. And quite frankly, it never made any sense. So once again, let's just see what Canelo does. Let's see what Canelo does. If Canelo were to take that challenge and fight Golovkin, I feel Canelo has a very good chance of possibly beating Gennady Golovkin. So let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens next year. That's all I got for now, guys. I want to say Merry Christmas to everybody and Happy New Year. On to the next one.